net jets, then steadies up for this vertical oxer, quite short in the 2. Just stays on the inside track for the 9. He'll finish up with the 1 down, 76.70 for 4 faults for Quentin Judge. Again, 76.70. Time allowed to start is 78 seconds, so that's looking okay at the moment. Again, we'll monitor one more and see if that sticks. But course is looking pretty solid to begin. And again, this is a qualifier for Saturday night's Grand Prix, where I believe we'll see 45 entries of the 61 that are jumping today. Now the riders qualify, not the horses, so riders can use different horses on Saturday night. But for today's Adequan WEF Challenge Cup, 62,500 on up for grabs. All right, we're looking at Valdez and Matt Williams of Australia, the Skyline Sport Horses LLC entry. Valdez, 11-year-old gelding by Vigo Darsui with the Ircolando mother. So, comes in a little bit big there, but horse really backed up nice in the double. You can really see something that Matt does that's a little bit different than maybe some of the other riders. He does something what we call an automatic release. So his hand comes forward and down a little bit versus up and on the crest of the neck. Again, some people believe that it really helps follow the mouth of the horse better. Just rider preference. We see it both ways. Does the nice 7. A little bit of a gap coming in there. Then he could add leg. Maybe adds a little bit leg and then pushes that front pole out of the way. But big step this horse has. Covered the ground in that double easy. He'll finish up 4 faults and 2 time faults, 79.63. Again, our time allowed 78 seconds. But we'll take a look and see. Now the course designer has an opportunity to adjust if he wants. We saw a couple go under the time allowed. I don't believe he'll make an adjustment, but he is allowed to. And I believe there they started the clock already for the next one. No adjustment going to be made. So we're sticking with that 78-second time allowed. And let's see if Brazil's Victor Mariano Luminati and Edette can show us the way. Owned by the ML Wellington Farm LLC entry of the 11-year-old Dutch-bred mare by Eldorado with the Nemelis mother. So, course looking solid to begin. Numbers looking pretty steady. Like I said, much more about adjustability than it is about picking and choosing numbers in this class. Does have that second jump down. Just had the back pole. Looked like maybe he was thinking about the turn after. Just cut down a little bit across the back pole of it. So Matt Williams before did the 5 coming in. That's the 6. He does have a coming into that double vertical. Again, very delicate double verticals early on in the course. Not the easiest double. Actually, none of these doubles are particularly easy to jump. We've actually seen faults in all 3 of them with our first 3 to go. Nice there in the 6. A little bit of a touch on the back pole, but very light touch. So that 7 walks sort of right on. I heard Cian O'Connor when he was out there talking, saying that he wanted to come really direct there so he could be steady up and steadying up in that 7. All right, so finishing up 8 faults, time is 79.43. So 2 on the clock as well, total of 10 faults for Victor Mariano Luminati. So we have not seen a clear round yet, and we've seen faults coming kind of all over the place so far. But let's see if USA's Sabine Cooper and Nazarene Vidi Axelhova can pave the way. 11-year-old mare by Emerald with the Chilano Z mother, owned by Cormendi Farms, LLC. It's a Belgian-bred horse. By the very famous Emerald, of course, the exuberant jumper from Harry Smolders. We're seeing tons and tons of offspring from Emerald in the high-level sport these days. Really good push off the ground there. The horse really set himself, or she really set herself, jumped beautifully. Big, big scopy jump over that. Good ride in there. This horse looks really scopy. So she's doing the 5. Steadies up. Whoa, jumps good there. Gets a little bit lucky. Was a little bit past the arc, and then it catches up with her at that oxer. Just getting up to the front pole a little bit early and a little bit too open. And there, it's funny, the line is a little bit awkward. I walked it. It is 5 strides, so you got to really stay on the track. It's a little bit of a bend, and the Mars oxer, the blue oxer, the out of the 4 stride from the line previous, is kind of in the way in a weird sense. And then you have the gazebo. The horses can really feel a little bit boxed in. And I think it just didn't quite show up the way she wanted. But she will retire within the round, and we will move on to Great Britain's Ben Mayer and Faltic HB. Our reigning individual Olympic gold medalist from the Tokyo Games. Ben is sitting on Faltic. 14-year-old stallion out of Baltic VDL with the Concord mother. Owned by Pamela Wright, Charlotte Rossiter, and Ben Mayer himself. Ben's had tremendous success on this horse. And it's not the biggest of horses, but scopy and jumps so easy. Big jump there. And again, he's by Baltic VDL, and some of the oldest ones, this one being one of the oldest ones, really just coming into the higher levels of the sport these days. But that was beautifully done. You could see Ben really using his upper body to slow it down, and there he then creates more energy, keeps the power up so he can jump across that Mars oxer. Beautiful connection point there. Oh, just touching the back pole. Coming into that double. Again, wanting to qualify for Saturday night's class. So he's just making sure to be as precise as possible. Jumps up around that vertical, coming in great. Beautiful jump out of the double. Then just staying on it here. Keeping up the energy. Jumps up around the last vertical. Just under that time allowed, 77.16. And 4 faults for Ben Mayer and Faltic HB. So good solid round for that first outing for the team. And hopefully we'll see them on Saturday night. All right, moving on to Switzerland's Be It Manly and Zari. 16-year-old mare owned by the Grant Road Partners GmbH. And actually, we have a number of Olympic horses in this class, no less than, I think, 4 of them actually jumping this class, and this one being the first. So this was his Olympic mount from Tokyo. And this horse has a big, big gallop by Veyron with an Ahorn mother. Just having the front pole of that, we've actually seen the front and the back pole of the second jump come down. Oddly, it's a single jump. It's not so big, but it does really, the way the course is set with the triple bar and then that oxer across the middle, there's big distances between them. And it really encourages the horses to get a little bit open. Makes it hard to jump those early single jumps. This horse has a big kind of lopey gallop, very big stride. Bayet always doing a really good job to kind of make sure he gives her enough space and uses her big stride. There you can see him kind of push on takeoff, create that energy, make sure she gets across the back. Beautiful jump there. Gets up and over that. Stays on the inside track here. Gets over the last, but he will pick up that one down and just over that time allowed. A tenth of a second, 78.10 with the 4 jumping faults and the 1 on a clock. That'll bring him up to a total of 5 penalty faults, sitting in 3rd place at the moment. We're going to see the next of our Olympic partnerships. It's going to be Cian O'Connor. He's sitting on his Olympic mount, Kilkenny, owned by Susan Maynier and ridden by Cian O'Connor. Cian is ranked 100th in the world. 44-year-old rider out of Ireland, but of course for the winter season, based here. And today sitting on the 12-year-old Irish-bred gelding Kilkenny. Bicardento with the Guidon mother. This horse jumped beautifully out on the grass last week. Absolutely stunning horse. Normally, actually, after the Olympics, switched riders, and Max Watchman has been riding this horse, but Max is out with an injury, so Cian having the ride on the horse right now. Steadies up in the 6. Beautiful through there. Really careful. Big jump across the Mars Oxer. Oh, just has B coming out of that mint green double. Again, the horses really struggle to jump those solid pastel colored rails. Again, horses are have very interesting eyesight. They don't see colors the way we do. And they always seem to struggle with those solid pastel-y colors. Really steady in there, but a beautiful jump out. And gets over the last. Under that time allowed 76.06, but with the 4 faults for Cian O'Connor and Kilkenny. So no clears so far. A bunch of 4 faulters, seen those rails come all over the place. Not one particular thing causing trouble at the moment. But we will move on to the USA's Sophie Mare and Sentimiento Elas La Cia. 15-year-old gelding by Casal with the Santo Domingo La Cia mother. This is such a beautifully bred horse. Actually, the grandmother of this horse is the baby of Retina Z. And the mother of the horse was actually ridden by Canadian Breton Chad, as well as Israeli rider Alberto Michon. But Sophie has had this partnership with this horse for a really long time. And they came up together through the levels. Big jump there. Does the 5. Needs to steady up here. Just rolls that out of the cup. I was thinking already. Just rolling into that double a little bit quick. Got over A, but just had quite a lot of momentum at B. Just kind of rolled it out of the top cups. Having that down as well. Again, that's our offset Liverpool vertical. She's kept the stride really open, but just looking like the jump's getting a little bit flat because of that. There as well. Jumped a little bit right to left across that oxer. Just didn't quite cover the back pole. Jumps the last double well. And clears the last, but will finish up just over that time allowed, 78.30, with the 4 down, total of 17 faults for Sophie Mayer and Senti. So looking like that time allowed of 78 seconds is right on. Peter Grant really nailed it with that. We've seen horses just kind of right on there, so you need to be sharp and really on the time allowed, but it's not choking tight. It's really set exactly how it should be. You need to stay on it, but I believe it will catch a few people out. With 61 entries to see in this class, I'm sure we'll see a number of clears. Well, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling we'll see a number of clears, but that time allowed may catch a few people. All right, let's take a look at USA's Michaela Langmeyer and Mimosa van der Rolebeek. 12-year-old mare owned by the Rafferty Farm LLC. Again, number 2 coming down. We're seeing that quite a lot. Seems like such a simple single jump across the middle, but it really encourages the opening up of that stride, and then it just gets a little bit flat and horse can get a little bit plain at it. Steadies up for the 6. Beautiful. You see the horse just kick out behind a little bit, making sure not to touch those jumps. Jumping that really well. You can see she lands, just moves up a little bit in the 5. Beautiful through that double. Keeping the balance. Nice space at the plank. Sitting just on that second jump coming down, so the 4 faults so far. But actually this horse jumping a great round. Getting a little bit mouthy there. Has a little bit of a rub coming in. Gets there a little bit too early at the front pole of the short 2 stride at the end. Stays on it to the last, but she will pick up those 2 down. And a little bit over that time allowed, 78.13. And that'll be a total of 9 for Michaela Langmeyer and Mimosa. So another time falter, but also with the 2 down. All right, we're moving on to Canada's Erin Ballard and the White Show Stables entry, Coconut. Erin ranked 38th in the Longines World Rankings. And let's see what Coconut can do. Owned by Erin Ballard and the White Show Stables, by Coleman with the Cornet Stern mother. Just 10 years old mare, this horse. Remember, it's the beginning of the year, so just coming into her 10-year-old year. But with a rider like Erin, horse has an amazing opportunity to really develop into a super horse. You can see big jump there. Erin, one of the strongest, best female riders in the world, in my opinion. She can ride any kind of horse, has been successful on tons of them. Look how beautifully she does that. Steadies up in the 6, not even moving a little bit, just in the saddle, so strong. Doesn't even move and just shortens that stride. You see the horse like an accordion just shorten. That was beautifully done. Stays on the inside track. Maybe a little bit too on the inside there. Got there a tiny bit early with the front pole. You could really see it from this camera angle. She was a lot more direct in that 5 stride than we've seen a lot of the other riders. And just maybe got there a tiny bit early. Strong ride there. Steadies up. Sets up nice for the 2 stride. Again, that 2 is short, and that's she really got to the base of the vertical. Set that up great. Stays on the inside track there. And she will pick up that 1 down time, 75.91, but with the 4 faults. She's well within our time allowed, showing us that it absolutely can be done under that time allowed. But with the 1 down. All right, we're going to move on to Brazil's Luciana Locio and Lady Louise Jamin. 49-year-old rider from Brazil, owned and ridden by Luciana herself. And actually, this horse was born in Brazil as well. So they came together from their home country. And I know it was bred in Brazil, but actually, it is by Londario with a Jalisco mother. When you see Jimen at the end like that, I believe that's the stud that it came out of in Brazil. Feisty looking horse. There, she's steadying up for the 6. Does a good job. Moves up a little bit in the 4. Big reach across that oxer, but gets across it. Again, that pitched her a little bit far out, so she's a little bit wide back on this turn. Needs to keep the balance coming in here. Gets over A, gets over B. This horse really likes to take her to the jumps. You can see it kind of take a little bit of a bid. Once it sees the jumps, last couple strides are its fastest. There we go. Looking good. Sitting up, needs to set up this steady 2. Good space coming in. She could actually just leg out there. 1 left to go. She's looking good on the time. Sets it up. Oh, what a shame. 75.13 was within the time, but does have that last jump down for a total of 4 faults for Luciana Locio and Lady Louise. So super round, unfortunately, just having that 1 down at the last. So still no clears. And we'll move on to our 15th entry in the ring. Ireland's Dara Kenny and Eddie Blue. 36-year-old rider for Ireland, based here in the U.S., ranked 17th in the world. Eddie Blue, owned by Carrie Ann, LLC, and by Eldorado Van de Zeshoek. And a chocolate blue mother. Dara's been really successful on this horse in recent weeks. I actually have not had an opportunity to really see it, but I keep seeing it in the results and following it, and it's nice that I can sit and watch it now. And it is clearly a big jumper. Jumps a little bit in its own way. Jumps good there. A little bit shifting right through the double. There you can see Dara really using his strength to just contain the horse and shorten it from head to tail. Here he's sitting in the saddle, adding leg, coming through the turn. Big jump there. Steadies up. Legs out. Looking good on the time. Can he do it? Can steady up a little bit to the last. Clears the last, and that will be our first clear. So first clear, Dara Kenny and Eddie Blue. Time 75.55. Beautifully ridden by Dara. You could see it was very precise. Made sure to create energy where he needed to, create space where he needed to, and putting in a great solid round for our first clear in the $62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. All right, now we're going to go over to USA's Jacob Pope and the Highway Group's entry, Highway FBH. He was supposed to be 12th in our original order, but perhaps something changed out in the paddock. But he's in the ring now. And this is a 12-year-old Dutch-bred stallion by Plot Blue with the Bologna mother. Cornetto Belinsky mother. Sorry, Bologna is the actual name of the mother. This horse, so careful. Jacob was clear in our WEF Challenge Cup 2 weeks ago on this horse. Just a beautiful jumper. Gets right up to the base of that. So careful through the double verticals. Moves up in the 4. A little bit of cross canter around the corner there. Just needs to keep the balance up. You can see just a little bit pushing coming in there. Just trusting the carefulness. Steadies up a little bit. Jumps up and high around that Florida Coast Equipment oxer. Steadying up in the 7. Then he can add leg there. Wow, horse jumped out. Great. 1 left to go. A little bit far off. It clears it. 73.60 and clear for Jacob Pope. And Highway FBH. So beautiful round there. And that will assure us of a jump off. So 2 clear at the moment. Highway FBH and Eddie Blue and Derek Kenny. So we are well underway into this class. And let's see if Puerto Rico's Vasco Flores and Cosmona can add their name to the good list with the Anton Morano entry of the 2011 Danish-bred mare by Cosmio with the Boga Gardens Apollo mother. Former ride of Gia Rinaldi. And this horse is Danish-bred. Again, we see a couple of Danish-bred horses. Margie Goldstein Engel's horse, Jack of Hearts, is a Danish-bred horse. And Cosmio, the father of this horse, is bred very little, actually. But what we're seeing out of it looks really quite good. Just tucks his little hind end there. Steadies up in the 6. That actually helped steady. He kind of landed shallow off that oxer. Helped him steady up. We've seen a couple of people do the 5 into the double verticals, but mostly we're seeing 6. He made that line look really simple. Some people struggling to get the correct line there, and he just executed it beautifully. Gets across the last. Looks maybe a little bit wide in places. We'll have to keep an eye on that time. Big reach across there. It's right on the edge. I think he's on the edge. And no, he does not get within that time allowed. 78.11. So super solid round from Vasco Flores, but just over that time allowed, just a 1/10 of a second over. That will put him into 3rd, but it will keep him out of our tiebreaker. So with the 1-time fault, still sitting on the 2 clear. Again, I had a feeling that time allowed was sort of perfectly set where if you were real efficient, you'd get within it easily, but it was certainly going to catch a couple people out. So we'll see how many, but so far, 1 jumping clear, but with the time. All right, move on to USA's Todd Minikus. Todd is sitting on the Spirit Group's Kikabo Spirit. 9-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Darius with the Game Boy mother. Ooh, that was a big jump at number 1. Landed a little bit close to that back pole, a little closer than I think Todd would like for comfort, but this horse, very scopy again, only 9 years old. It's a big level for a horse like this to jump, but this is a big scopy horse, certainly capable. He was clear in our 150 class 2 weeks ago out here. Big stretch there. Could see got right to the base of it, lost a little bit of momentum and power. Good reaction there, though. Nice strong ride by Todd there. Funny, sometimes when the horses are backed off early on in the course, if you can add your leg and they can react well to something, they really gain confidence from it. And I think this horse just made a little bit of a green mistake, losing a little bit of momentum and impulsion over that oxer early on. But looking like he's going to learn something from it. A little bit deep coming in here. I have to add some leg, but well done there to Todd. 1 left to go. So just that early mistake clears the last. Time is 77.65. Stays within our time allowed. And picks up the early fault for a total of 4 for Todd Minikus and Kikabo Spirit. But in general, just a 9-year-old, and I think that was quite a solid round. All right, we're going to move on to France's Nina Malave and the Rain Family LLC entry Cartier SR. Just 24 years old, representing her home nation of France. And this horse, Cartier SR, by counter-enter with the San Patrignano Cassini mother. Nina, such a good young rider. This horse really scopy, beautiful horse to see. Look at that, really nose down, knees up. Beautiful shape there. And Nina, a very competitive rider. A little bit crooked there on the 5, kind of landed and shifted. Don't think the horse quite knew where he was going. She does a good job to just kind of keep him on track, keep focusing. Gets over the delicate plank. There you can see really creating the energy on takeoff. Beautiful jump at that oxer. Also there. Great body control. She landed and you could see her upper body really sit up and start to steady. This horse has a big stride and she just sat up and fitted. She looks okay on the time. Clears the last. And adds her name to the good list. 75.96 and clear for Cartier and Nina Malave. So bringing our count up to 3 so far for the jump off. And looking good so far. All right. Moving on to USA's Chris Uwanowski and the Polo Jump LLC entry, Condor du Valdesi. 37-year-old rider from the U.S. sitting on Condor. Sire of this horse is quite easy with a Quito de Bausi mother. So French on the mother's side. And this course looking quite solid. We're seeing faults kind of all over the place. Of course, the doubles, the 3 doubles causing maybe the most issues, but we've seen a number clear in the last period. Comes in a little bit strong. Great effort there. Backs up around them. Gets up that 4 stride easy. Some people are really having to move up there. Chris was just there. Nice and easy. This horse has a lot of blood. Moves up a little bit in the 5. Gets over the double. Now needs to keep it organized for the plank. There we go. Jumps good. Good jump at the orange. Beautiful jump at the net jets. A little bit on that left side. Oh, just gets there a little bit early coming out of the double. And then stays on this inside track to the last. Gets over the last time. 76.19, but picking up that penultimate fence. Total of 4. Will put Chris and Condor into 8th place at the moment. So he was just a little bit on that left corner coming into the black double at the end. And then maybe just got there a little bit early. Pushing that front pole out of the way. All right, let's move on to Germany's Rupert Karl Winkelmann and Calvado Sun. The Eichendorff horses GmbH & Co. entry of the 12-year-old gelding. And funny enough, it does not list, the FEI system does not list the breeding on this horse, but it says Calvado Sun. I would assume it's by Calvado or out of Calvado, but not listed in the FEI system. I'll have to query Rupert and find out. Maybe he knows. First full season here for Rupert, showing steadies up nice here in the 6. Little stretch across that Mars Oxer. We're seeing that with a lot of the horses. Just a little bit long in that 4 stride. Takes the first distance out of the corner to the Liverpool, but gets through that 5 stride beautifully. You can really see Rupert just when the horse kind of drops behind him a little bit, he really puts his leg on, make sure he's still paying attention, keep that energy and active gallop. There we go. Oh, just a little bit maybe on that right to left angle as he jumps the net jets. Steadies up there, gets across the back of the double. And gets over the last. Time is 78.06, just 0.06 of a second over that time allowed. But that will give him 1 time penalty with the 4 jumping faults, total of 5 for Rupert Carl Winkelmann and Calvado Sun. All right, we're going to move on to the USA's Elise Oken and the High Hopes Farm LLC entry of Forrestal. 32-year-old rider sitting on the 10-year-old gelding by Don Diarado with the Allegretto mother. Elise, of course, was just recently named to the NetJets U.S. Nations Cup riding team. She will be representing the U.S. in Abu Dhabi. Ooh, just tripped there on the backside. She'll be representing the U.S. for the new League of Nations, the Longines League of Nations competition, coming up in a couple of weeks in Abu Dhabi. So the new league that the FEI has made for Nations Cup jumping, and she will be on that team. Elise, of course, working with Marcus and Meredith Bierbaum, and has had a tremendous year. Won a couple of big classes over in Europe over the summer and fall. And has a lot of horses now up at this high level. But very consistent, very competitive rider. Just has that A and B of the last double. Just looked like the horse got a little bit flat. Oh, she does pick up the last one as well. Finishing up 12 faults, time is 76.15. So stays within the time allowed, but with the 3 down, that'll put her into 18th place at the moment with Forrestal. All right, we're going to move on to Canada's Tiffany Foster and the Artisan Farms LLC and Kent Farrington LLC entry, Battle Cry. Tiffany ranked 24th in the world and sitting on the 10-year-old Belgian-bred gelding by Vigo Darsui with the Latano mother. This horse I saw a number of times last year, and it was just 9 years old, but I believe she might have won a 150 class on it, and I loved the horse. I think it's very competitive, very powerful, and looks like a fun one to ride. A little bit straight across the top line how he jumps, But we see a lot of horses that jump the high level actually jump like that. You can see his horse has such power. And just now, 10 years old, going to come into his peak, I believe. Steadies up nice in the 6. Horse is just very efficient about the way that it jumps, opens up beautifully behind. She just keeps him straight here. You can see he's got that little fly mask covering his nose. That's just to help with any kind of the particles flying into the nose if the horse has some allergies. Just can keep their head a little steadier and prevent them from being annoyed by bugs and particles going in their nostrils. Beautiful jump coming in there. Backs up great and then pushes across B. 1 left to go. A little bit on the edge with the time, but I think she's okay. Yes. 76.43. Nice simple round. You can see that big smile on Tiff's face. And a good pet for Battle Cry, adding their name to the good list, bringing our count up to 4 for our tiebreaker coming up in a little bit. All right, so we're looking at Highway FBH, Eddie Blue, Cartier, and now Battle Cry will be the 4 in our jump off so far. All right, moving on to Eugenio Garza Perez and Chalery. Chalery PS, 10-year-old stallion by Choco Blue with the Balubé Durouet mother, owned by David and Monica Garza. And the Balubé mother of this horse herself actually jumped 145, so it's a really well-bred horse, both mother and father in the sport. Of course, by Choco Blue. Jumps through the double vertical. A little bit of strong ride there. Opening up that stride to get across the Blue Oxer. Just looked like he jumped across, he jumped up and then just not able to finish getting the hind end over the back of the plank. You can see he just held himself a little bit tight through the body. Just didn't finish a fluid jump behind having that plank down. Gets over the last, but will pick up the 4 faults. Time is 75.05. With the 1 down for Eugenio Garza and Chalery. Sitting in 6th place at the moment. But we'll see where that final placing ends up with the 1 down. All right, we're just waiting for our next one to come in the list, or come into the ring. And there they are. Lebanon's Jad Dana and Caro W. The Peter Howard and Laurie Cedreau entry of the 12-year-old Holsteiner gelding by Castellan with the Aragorn mother. 28-year-old rider has been on fire recently. Just been so competitive on all of his horses up at the high level. And let's see if he can jump clear today in our $62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Again, such a natural style Jad has. And for those of you looking at the breeding of this horse, It's by Castellan 2, but actually sometimes Castellan 2 is also known as Castellan 3, which is relatively confusing. That you would think 2 and 3 would be different horses, but actually this horse is listed as both. A little bit close there over the Liverpool, and then just looked like he was trying to get up to that green oxer and just not able to get up there quite enough. Has the back pole that now has also the plank down. You can see Jad just adding quite a lot of leg, and the horse just not quite reacting to him, struggling to just kind of get across the back poles. Beautiful ride there. Then it jumped up around B beautifully. And you can see there, he's trying to add leg. He wanted to do one less. Horse puts another stride in at the end, clears it, but does pick up the 3 down. 12 faults. Time is 80.38. So 3 on the clock, 12 on the course. Total of 15 for Jad, Dana, and Caro W. All right, we're going to move on to Chile's Jorge Mate Capdevila. Jorge is sitting on his own entry, Winning Good. The 2009 gelding by Winning Mood with the Sir Corland mother. Winning Good, of course, formerly seen under Emily Moffat and Ben Mayer. And was just a tremendous horse for both of them. Ben won a Global Champions Tour Grand Prix on the horse, number of 5 stars. Emily, of course, jumped Nations Cup clear multiple times for the British team and was just a tremendous horse. And I actually had the lucky pleasure of getting to ride this horse as an 8-year-old. I tried him when he was still in England, and it was just a super animal his entire life. If you ever go back and look at a video of this horse as a young horse, it was just so special to see. So careful, always had scope. Was just bound to be a top horse from the young age. And Jorge took this horse to the Pan American Games this past summer in Santiago. Oh, it's kind of an unlucky fault, actually. Got across it, just touched it lightly at the end. But gets over the last time is 78.19, so just over that time allowed. 1 time fault, 4 jumping penalties, total of 5, slotting into 16th place for Jorge and Winning Good at the moment. Now we will move on back to the USA with 21-year-old rider Hallie Grimes. Hallie is sitting on the Can We Keep It LLC entry of Chicato PS. Ooh. Looking like someone walking down the side actually startled the horse a little bit. Looking back. But she will try to put that behind her and move on to starting her course. Horse, a 12-year-old gelding by Diablo Blanco with the Argolith Staccato mother. Argolith Staccato is also just Staccato. Sometimes they have a prefix. Sometimes the prefix is listed and sometimes it's not. It's usually a breeder or an owner. But this horse just by regular old Staccato. Hallie's only 21 years old, but she has been very competitive at this higher level here in the U.S. And she's a real trier of a rider. She's really up there. She's fighting to get it done. I love to see that grit in the young up-and-coming riders. You need that in this sport. You really need you got to dig deep sometimes, and you can't give up. You got to fight to the very end of the course. Try to leave every single jump up. And sometimes things come up that you don't love, and you got to just keep digging deep and making it happen. And Hallie does that really well. A little bit on that outside track, just had a lot of momentum coming in there. Again, I mentioned it early. We had seen Cian O'Connor, when I was walking the course, said, you know, it walks sort of nice 7, middle to middle, but you want to make sure you stay on the inside track so you could be slowing down, and Hallie was just a little bit on the outside. She'll finish up time 78.24, 1 on the clock, 4 jumping, total of 5 faults to finish up her round here in the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. All right, we're going to move on to USA's Carly Anthony and the Portfolio Horses LLC entry, Heavenly W. 12-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Calvara with the Quidam de Revel mother. And Carly, one of the most successful riders here in the U.S. to develop horses to a high level. I think she does an absolutely beautiful job. And horses always jump beautifully for her. And this horse, Heavenly W, was seen, actually, has had a lot of riders in his life. McLain Ward rode this horse, Richard Howley, Vincent Vaughan. And but it was a horse that was sort of always in the results his whole life. So, consistent jumper. Steadies up in the 6. Beautiful body control there by Carly. Just stays out of the way of the horse, lets him jump up to her. Just moves up there. And again, great body control. Just take a look. Ooh, not her fault. The wind blows it down. A little bit of a spook. But because the wind blew it down, it was not her fault. It will not be counted as a penalty. You don't see that so often. Brave horse to just jump, especially since it happened like 1 or 2 strides right before. Sits up here, gets over the out of the double. 1 left to go. She's a little bit maybe on the edge of the time. Will she get it? She's just within 77.57 and clear, adding her name to the good list, bringing our count up to 5 for our jump off, Carly Anthony and the Heavenly W. So rare thing happened there with the plank falling down. Brave horse to just keep jumping, and that was great to see her jump clear. Nice to see these horses be brave and just keep wanting to do. They're like, no, I'm supposed to keep jumping even if it's moving. But we will move on now to Ireland's David O'Brien and El Balou Old. 12-year-old stallion by Eldorado with the Balou du Rouet mother, owned by the Chansonet Farm LLC and Leap Year Farm LLC. And a former ride of Lily Keenan, who actually will be coming up next. So this horse, always a scopy horse, definitely jumps a bit in his own style. You can see a little bit keeps his head and neck up as he jumps the jump, so a little bit straighter across the top line. But again, often a sign of scopy horses that are a little bit straighter through the back. Sometimes, amazingly, a really round bascule of a jump, so when the horse really jumps up and uses their back, you actually find that they're not as scopy when they jump like that. And when they're a little bit straighter, they're able to get across the width and the big height sometimes easier. So looking good so far. This horse has a lot of blood. Gets right up to the base of that plank. A little bit left to right there on takeoff. But he's doing a good job here. Nice jump there. Now just needs to organize. Horse kind of pats the ground, steadies. Great jump there. 1 left to go. He's well within the time. A little bit space at the last and clears it. 76 flat for the time of David O'Brien and El Baloo Old, adding their name to the good list, bringing our count up to 6 for our jump off. So it's going to be an exciting jump off coming up at the end here. But next up, let's take a look at the USA's Lily Keenan and the Chansonet Farm LLC entry of Queensland E. Queensland, of course, former ride of myself. And 15-year-old gelding by Quickfire de Ferran with a Socrati de Chivre mother. So unique breeding. We don't see this so much. But this is the first big class back for Queensland. He jumped a 2-star out in California a few weeks back, but he was out for a little bit from Lily, and he is just coming back now, coming up back to this high level. And Lily does such a great job with this horse. Of course, I rode this horse myself, so I know that he's not always the easiest, but he is a jumper. Does the steady 6. Really good there. I know she said she was trying out a new piece of tack today. And let's see if it works. Looking good so far. Can get a little bit strong. You see Lily just trying to slow it down and organize here. Gets right to the base. This horse is so careful in front. She opts to do the steady 7, not to let him get too far away from her at the end of the course. The horse always building a little bit as he goes. And then keeps that up. Jumps great. Gets a little bit strong here. Beautiful jump out. 1 left to go. Just keeping it together at the end. And there we go. Clear round 76.28 for Lily and Queensland. And that will bring 3 in a row for the clears, bringing our count up to 7. So she was under the time allowed. Well done to Lily there on Queensland. And happy to see him back up at this high level. You can see her happy, giving him a big pet. All right, moving on to Ireland, Shane Sweetnam, the 12th ranked rider in the world, and he is sitting on VoQuest LLC's entry, Otis Blue. Jaguar Van de Pamel and numero uno on the mother's side. Oh, big jump there. Really jumped high over that. Oh, jumped that one huge as well. Wow, that was beautiful through the double verticals. Otis Blue putting on a show at the moment. Not only is this horse jumping in beautiful shape, but he is jumping high and careful and scopy. It's funny, a little bit interesting technique. He's sort of very quick with his front end, but in a way almost a little bit like not so even as he brings them up. You can see, I mean, the technique is good. The knees are up, the head and neck down, but the way that he pulls his front legs up is sort of not equally at the same time. Interesting how he does that. But gets over the last, and that'll be 4 in a row. Clear 75.12, and Otis Blue clear for Shane Sweetnam. So 8 clear now as we near the halfway mark. But before we hit that halfway mark, we're going to see USA's Zaina Rizvi and the Exquisite Group, Exquise du Pachi. 14-year-old mare by Vagabond with the Ogonacita mother. Owned by Optimus Agro NV and the Exquisite Group. And Zaina, of course, won a very prestigious award last week at the United States Equestrian Federation and United States Equestrian Team Dinner for top up-and-coming rider for the USA. And, of course, she's been tremendously successful. Just, I think, 18 or 19 years old, and she already has jumped on Senior Nations Cup teams successfully, as well as winning 3-star Grand Prix in Europe in the fall. So Zaina is just top rider. And I believe the reigning U.S. team and individual young rider gold medalist. Beautifully done there, just to back up and jump around those double verticals. She's looking good so far. Just keeping it nice and simple. She's had this horse for a long time. It's been a great partnership for her. Riding with John and Missy Clark and John Brennan. They've done such a great job with her all through the junior ranks. She's looking good so far. She does have the 1 down. So she will finish up in a time of 76.56 with the 1 down for Zaina Rizvi and Exquistu Pashi. So solid round, but does pick up the 4 faults. All right, we're going to take a look now at Japan's Karen Poli with her own entry, Jet Run. 14-year-old gelding by Choco Blue with the Robin Z mother. And Karen's had this horse for actually quite a while, but he was out and now just back up at this high level. She jumped the National Grand Prix under the lights beautifully last week here, and now stepping back into this 4-star level for the FEI International competition. Beautiful jump there. Ooh, he's jumping up real high, lands a little stumble on the backside. Ooh, he's just looking a little bit sticky. And here he's just looking a little bit like he was getting a little bit insecure about his jump and thinking, woo, getting higher and higher. So it's looking like she may just jump a courtesy fence. And she looks like she's going to call it a day. Okay, so Karen is going to retire within the round on Jet Run. We are sitting on 8 clear at the moment, and it looking like we're at our halfway point. So 8 clear so far in this $62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. We will be back with you guys shortly for the second half of the class, as well as our jump off following. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with you shortly. All right, hello and welcome back, everybody. Tractors are just making their way out of the arena at our halfway drag. We're here for the $62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. And we are sitting on 8 clears at the moment. Highway FBH and Jacob Pope, Eddie Blue and Dara Kenny, Cartier SR and Nina Malave, Forrestal and Elise Oken, Battle Cry and Tiffany Foster. No, not Forrestal and Elise Oken. Sorry, list is not quite up. Battle Cry, Tiffany Foster, Heavenly W and Carly Anthony, El Baloo Old and David O'Brien, Queensland E and Lily Keenan, and Otis Blue and Shane Sweetnam. So 8 clear at the moment. We are halfway through this class. And again, thank you to today's sponsor, Adequan, American Regent Animal Health, the maker of Adequan. Polysulfated glycosaminoglycan is proud to sponsor today's $62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here at WEF 3. For over 30 years, Adequan has been trusted by veterinarians, trainers, and horse owners. Visit adequan.com to learn more. And thanks to Dodd Technologies presenting our live stream. Dodd Technologies is an industry leader in creative design and technology support services for sports, entertainment, corporate, and special events. Visit us online at doddtechnologies.com. And also, today's live stream is presented in part with the support of the U.S. Equestrian Federation and the USEF Network. I'm Danny Waldman, and we will be underway shortly. The horses and riders for our second half are just getting ready in our warm-up arena. It's a breezy day here, but the sun is shining. A couple clouds in the sky, around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And the course has been very solid. We've seen faults all over the place. But let's see if our second half can produce a few more clears. First of those in the ring for our second half is going to be America's Natalie Dean, 24-year-old rider, and she is sitting on a Kato M, the Marigold Sport Horses LLC entry of the 11-year-old mare by Toulon with the Quattro 7 mother. Again, sitting on 8 clear at the moment, but I have a feeling we're going to see a few more clear. Time allowed 78 seconds. We've seen everyone hovering right around that time. A couple over, a few people in the 76 range, but right around that 78 is where people are landing. Beautiful jump there. This horse is such a super horse for Natalie. It's not the biggest horse, but it is scopy and careful. Jump one of the 5 stars here last year. Clear on this horse. Ooh, just a little bit hurried and a little bit quick coming into that double. Just not quite balanced enough. You could see there was a little bit of rushing as she came in there. Again, this horse has a lot of blood and really takes her to the jumps, but coming into those delicate double verticals, when you have enough speed like that, it can make it hard to clear them. Again, recently started working with our Olympic reigning champion, Ben Mayer. So they're just building their working relationship together. But Natalie's been really good. I think she won our young rider class out on the grass field last week. Clears that, and we'll finish up with just that one down early on, 73.51. So look at that super fast time of 73.51, but has a of the double verticals coming in early on in the course. All right, we're going to move on to Israel's Ashley Bond and Donatello 141. She's sitting on her Olympic mount, 38-year-old rider from California originally, but representing Israel, ranked 49th in the world. Donatello owned by Ashley Bond, Show Jumping LP, and Ashley Bond herself. By Diarardo with the Lamoureux 1 mother. course, Donnie was her horse that she finished, I believe, 11th individually in the Olympic Games on. And it's just such a super horse. She developed this horse from a young horse. I think she started riding him when he was 5 or 6 and brought him up all the way to the Olympic level. And she knows him inside and out. And he is just so careful. Small horse, not the biggest stride, but she just uses that to her advantage. She knows where she doesn't ever do the leave outs. She just keeps it organized and trusts him to be careful. There you can see she does one extra stride comparatively to the rest of the class up that line. But she knows this horse so well. She knows what he can and can't do. Keeps the rhythm up here for this. Gets through the double. 1 left to go. She's well within that time. Steadies up for the last. And clear round for Ashley Bond and Donatello. 72.72 is her time. Ultra fast time. And clear, look at that big smile for Ashley and Donnie. All right, we're going to move on to the USA's Aaron Vale with the Debbie Smith-owned entry, Carissimo 25. 11-year-old gelding by Cascadella with the Clinton mother. Aaron, another one of those riders named to the League of Nations team that will be coming up in a couple of weeks for the new Nations Cup format jumping for the FEI in Abu Dhabi. So he will be heading over to the Middle East in a couple of weeks to represent the U.S. But he's here today on Carissimo 25. This horse, just a beautiful jumper. He won our Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. Was absolutely super fast. And this horse jumping in a beautiful way. Formerly seen under Mavis Spencer. Beautiful jumps there. And Aaron just adding a little bit of leg there. Again, trusting the carefulness of this horse. So he opts to do 6 coming into the double there. We've seen mostly 5s. But he went a little bit out, put a bend in there for the 6, got the balance. And he's looking good so far. Steadies up. Ooh, just have an A down there. A little bit of a stretch out, but clears B. And then stays on it to the last. Gets over that. Quick time, 73.54. But with the 1 down, we'll put him into 12th place at the moment for Aaron Vale and Carissimo 25. All right, we're going to move on to the Michael and Wendy Smith-owned entry, Hialeah B and Australia's Tyza Erwin. 43-year-old rider, originally from Australia, based here in the U.S., and she has had some great results on this horse recently. She was a couple weeks ago clear in this WEF Challenge Cup as well as the Grand Prix, I believe. This horse just beautiful. 12-year-old Dutch-bred horse by Emerald with the Valiant mother. This horse really just sort of coming into her own. She's really been jumping great, really solid and consistent clear rounds. Look at that big scopy. I really like this horse. Has a good expression on her face. Just tries to leave the jumps. So look at that. Smooth. She came in a little bit gappy into the verticals, but the horse just backs up, jumps high around it, takes her time, not getting too quick. Just maybe a little bit off it as she took off at A. Just cuts down a little bit, doesn't get across the back pole. Again, we've seen that happen a couple of times here today. So not uncommon. Big jump there at the net jets oxer. Beautiful there. Jumps B. A little bit far at the last, but clears it. Time is 74.24 with the 1 down. 4 faults for Tyza Erwin and Hyalita B. But I think if she makes it into Saturday night, I think she is set up well for that. So just the 1 down. And we will move on to our next. It's going to be Brazil's Luis Francisco de Azevedo and the Santa Cecilia Stables LLC entry, Colin. 17-year-old horse by Colandra with the Amethyst Mother. And this has been a long-term partnership for Luis and Colin. They've won many classes together. Very, very fast horse. And very competitive. By Colandro. Colandro is a stallion that bred a lot as a young horse. And producing horses with really like a lot of blood. And you see that in this horse. This horse is really active gallop and a lot of blood. Big, strong jump there. Fits it in. Really careful. Jumps that great. Just a little bit of a reach across there. Again, similar to our previous one. Just gets up high over the front pole, but lands a little bit shallow on the back. Steadies up, does one more there. A little bit. Ooh, ooh. Stay on. Keep going, keep going. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, look at that. One stirrup, gets over the last. Good job to keep on going. Luis Francisco de Azevedo will end up picking up 3 down on the course. 1 on the clock, time 78.97. So, horse just tried to jump out of there. Landed kind of on his neck, but got back in the tack and made it to the last without a circle. That's what we like to see. To see a little bit of grit and keep on going. All right, moving on to USA's Catherine Tyree Flores and Camilla Zed. 30-year-old rider for the U.S., recently married, picking up that second last name. And Camilla Zed is owned by Catherine Tyree, LLC, and by Cliff 67 with the Sandra Boyd Jr. mother. Stallion of this horse, Cliff 67, is actually a horse that is a really good jumper, but didn't breed so much because he's been in the sport. I think maybe Camilla also was seen before by Italy's Lorenzo De Luca, as well as Ben Mayer. So this horse had a couple of really good riders. And Kat, of course, also such a strong rider. She was saying this is actually maybe one of the biggest classes this horse has jumped. She's jumped a number of 3-star classes, but stepping up now to the 4-star level on the 12-year-old mare. Beautiful ride there. Sits up great, using her upper body, helping that jump. Great jump there. Horse jumps a bit in her own style, but she really is a nice animal. Really good behind. 1 left to go, but I do think she's going to pick up a couple of time faults. Ooh. As the last down as well, so the time won't matter so much. 78.95 over that time allowed, picking up the 1 time fault, but also having the last jump down for a total of 5 for Kat Tyree and Camilla Zed. So holding steady at our 9 clear. at the moment. So just one in this second half has gone clear so far. But let's see if Mr. McLain Ward and his own entry and Susan Heller's La Serra can add their name to the good list. 9th ranked rider in the world at the moment. McLain has had a good start to the season, but I'm sure he'd love to pick up a win early on here. This horse by Casal with the Lacros mother, 10-year-old Holsteiner mare. Beautiful jump there at number 1. Nice and patient there to the wall. Just steadies up right to the base. Maybe just a little bit close to the base there at A. Has it down behind. And there, just having the top 2 poles of A coming into the double. Just didn't quite get up in the air enough on takeoff. So this horse just 10 years old, newer to this level. Again, remember, they're just, sometimes the horses, of course, January 1st, they all bump up a year, but that doesn't mean that they're actually even at their 10-year-old year, because don't know when the horse was actually born. So anyway, time is 80.20, 3 time faults, 2 jumping faults, so total of 11 for McLain Ward and La Serra. And we're going to go over to Adrian Sternlicht and Benny's Legacy. Sitting on the Starlight Farms LLC entry of the 16-year-old gelding by Lupicore with the Voltaire mother. Adrian, of course, team gold medalist from the World Games back in Tryon. And this horse, Benny's Legacy, is a great partnership for her. She has had the horse a number of years, won a lot of Grand Prix on him. He's super competitive, but he's getting up in the years now, 16 years old at the moment. Very careful horse. Former ride of Andrew Bournes of Ireland. Beautiful right up to the base there. Nice strong ride out of the corner there to the offset Liverpool. Beautiful through the double. Just sets up that plank well. And again, this horse, when he's on form, is just so careful. Such a great expression on his face. Backs up there beautifully through the double. 1 left to go. Should be okay with the time. And clear round. 76.67 for Benny's Legacy and Adrian Sternlicht. So that will bring us up to 10 for our jump off so far here in our $62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. So 10 on the good list and 20 remain in this first round. All right, moving on to USA's Caitlin Connors. And the Caitlin Connors LLC entry, Falcon de Hoos Z. 23-year-old rider for the U.S. 2009, 15-year-old gelding by Florian de la Vie with the Atlantis mother. Former rider Scott Keach and Roberto Terran. Caitlin is not too tall, but she is really strong in the tack. You can see her really sit in, stay connected to her horse. Gets right up to the base there. Ooh, she got up to the base of it. You could see she moved up a little bit, got to it. But unfortunately, horse cuts down a little bit at A. That comes down. A little bit of a shift there on takeoff. I think that's why that comes down. Front pole, you could see she took off a little bit in the right corner and kind of shifted left across it as he took off. Clears the last, but we'll pick up those 2 down, 8 faults, times 76.17 for Caitlin Connors and Falcon de Hoos Z. So holding at our 10 clear. And we will shift over to Margie Goldstein Angle and the Gladewinds Farm Incorporated entry, Dicas. Dicas is the long-time partner of Margie's. And horse by Diarardo with the Cassini 1 mother. Margie's had a lot of success with this horse over the years. And of course, Diarardo, same father as Ashley Bond's Donatello. And really super commercial horses, really simple, easy to ride. And always good jumpers. And this horse always just looks like such a pleasure. He looks nice in the mouth, comes off the leg. Always looking simple. And we love that. There you can see she's just going a little left, a little right, created some space in that line to fit the 6. Has a little bit of rub at A, but that one stays up. Same kind of thing there. A little shift left and right, but works out fine. A little left to right across the double. A little bit of leg there for Margie, getting across the Florida Coast Equipment Oxer. Keeping him straight. Gets over that. 1 left to go. She's good on the time. And can we leave it up? Ooh, a little close at the end, but yes, 73.13 and clear for Dicas and Margie Angle. So 11 now on the good list. And it's shaping up to be a very exciting jump off. We've got a lot of very fast ones in there. We will see, since everyone also trying to qualify for Saturday night's class, depending if they're going to ride this horse again on Saturday. They may or may not. We always see sometimes when the jump-offs get a lot of people in them, we do see some people elect not to jump off. But I'm sure we'll see plenty in there. All right, moving on to Belgium's Nicola Philipparts. 28th ranked rider in the world. Nicola Philipparts sitting on his own entry, Derby to Riverland. It's owned by Team Philipparts and Pierre Cibolai. 11-year-old Self-Francais gelding by Cannon with the L'Arc de Triomphe mother. Of course, he was second in our 3-star Grand Prix out on the field last Sunday with this horse. Big stretch across number 2. But Nicola, always lucky. He's the one of his family. There's many of them in the Philipparts family that ride, But he's the lucky one, gets to spend the winter here in Florida. He's been here the last couple of years. And he's been tremendously successful. Such a great rider. And this horse with a lot of blood. And it jumped great last week. Strong ride there. Nicola's a pretty tall guy. This is not the biggest horse. Lands a little bit left there. That actually helped shape that up. Jumped really good around A. Gets over B. Looks good on the time. Keeps moving to the last. Clears that. Time is 73.52. And they, too, will be clear. Making it an even dozen at the moment for our deciding jump-off round. So, Nicola jumping a lot of clears in a row so far with Derby. So far we are aware that actually 3 of the riders won't be jumping the jump-off so far, coming back. But we'll get you that list once the second half of this class is done. But let's move on to last week's big winner from the 3-star, Richard Vogel and his mount, Cidello. The Coleridge Equestrian LLC and Richard Vogel entry on the 10-year-old gelding by Cascadello with the Forsyth mother. Of course, they were our winners from Sunday with their absolutely lightning fast jump off. Very impressive out on the field. And it was the horse's first meter 55 class that he jumped, and he came out and he won it on Sunday. So let's see if they can maintain that form. Good job there, Richie, really slowing the horse down. But this horse just so careful. Oh, just having the back pole of that mint green double of Oxer coming into the double. Does the one more here to the Florida Coast equipment, just trying to contain the stride a little bit, keep it organized. Again, you see this horse has a ton of blood and just a little bit of a reach there. Richie, I think, trying to be quite quick, thinking about having the one down, saying, all right, how can I stay up there in the money? But unfortunately, just was a little bit on the angle, a little bit far off that net shed. So that came down as well. So he will pick up 2 down, 8 faults. Time is 73.95 for Richard Vogel's time and Cidello. So we will move on to Spencer Smith and the Ashford Farms entry, Keeneland. 11-year-old Zangerside gelding by Carmina Z with the Quattro mother. This horse, actually, Keeneland, had a former name of Cadeau Z. So if you're looking it up, you might find it listed as Cadeau. Spencer won our class yesterday in the 4-star. So he started out his week well. Nice steady up here in the 6. Big stride, gets up that 4 easy. Again, the ones with the big stride are coming out of those verticals and landing a little bit farther away, and then they are getting up the 4 nice and easy. He gets through the difficult mint double with no trouble. Looking good so far for Spencer. He's actually making this look nice and simple, just keeping it very patient. Does have A coming into that last double. And Gets over the last, but will pick up that late fault. 4 faults. Time is 76.51 for Spencer Smith and Keeneland. So with the late fault, that will keep him out of our jump off, but nice simple round there for Spencer and should be set up nicely for the rest of the week. All right, moving on to Canada's Amy Miller. 64th ranked rider in the world, and she's sitting on Truman, the Miller Brook Farm Limited and Overland entry of the 2009 Salle Francais gelding. So 15-year-old horse, but I believe she jumped the WEG and the Olympics on this horse. No, not the Olympics. I think just the WEG. But been a long-time partnership of hers, and it's been a super horse. Tons of results. As far as by Mylard, Carthago, and Colibri Mother. And Colibri actually is a horse out of eastern Germany. And because Germany is so big, you see there's a ton of stallions that you don't see so much of, and he didn't get so many chances being in the east of Germany. But what we've seen, I think he was actually probably one of the best breeding stallions in the area. But of course, Amy looking great here so far. Gets over the last, making that look easy. Nice and quick time, 73.82. And clear for Amy Miller and Truman. So gives us a baker's dozen so far coming back for the jump off. Like we said already, a couple of people have notified us that they will not be jumping off. I'll let you know that list at the end. But before that, we've still got a bunch to see in this first round. We're going to take a look at Italy's Giorgio Bucci and Coachella. 15-year-old gelding by Casal with the Cartani for mother. And PG just got over here from Europe. And actually, this is his first big show back. He had a rough last year. He broke his collarbone and then broke it again. Unfortunately, they did surgery and then he broke it again. He had to do surgery again. So that was just about 4 weeks ago. So he is just back jumping at this level. It was a little sticky at the wall we saw, but PG doing a good job to encourage the horse to come forward and looking good so far. Gets up the 5, gets through that double. A little bit deep there at 9, but you can see PG just adding a lot of leg, knowing that the horse is just a little bit backed off. Does have the back pole there. And there, just looked like the horse took his eye off the jump a little bit and didn't quite see where he was going. And PG just having to make a circle because I think he just didn't think it was coming up right. Makes the circle, gets through the double. And gets over the vertical, but he will pick up 4 on the clock, 8 jumping, total of 12 faults, 81.30 for Giorgio Bucci and Coachella. All right, we're going to move on to the USA's Kent Farrington. And Kent Farrington LLC entry of Greya. 10-year-old mare by Colestis with a contender mother. Kent, of course, from the winning team in Santiago, Chile. On his other horse, Landed. But now he's sitting on Greya. Sourced by Colestis with a contender mother. horse just 10 years old. It was developing up to the higher levels last year as a 9-year-old. Was very successful. But very athletic horse to see. Calestis, the sire of this horse, was seen under Christian Kukuk, who was, and Calestis was really great in the young horse classes, and has been jumping a lot of Grand Prix. So the oldest ones are now just jumping in the sport. Greya, one of the better ones there. Kent just steadying up at the end. This horse maybe now has quite a big gallop, maybe not the easiest horse to shorten. So Kent doing a great job. Looking good so far. No boots at all behind. Nice and natural. I think sometimes even if you just put a protective boot on, it can throw the balance of the horse's jump off a little bit. So Kent just opting to keep it natural. Jumps beautifully out of the double. One left to go. He's good on the time. Clears the last and clear. 74.68. Bringing our count up to 14 so far, coming back for our jump off. And 14 qualified for our jump off so far. And Kent making light of this course. And that looked nice and simple. And a nice long rein and a pet coming out of the ring. So this class actually, 61 entries will contest the course by the end, but it is a very strong field of horses. Like I said, no less than, I think, 4 Olympic horses and some really strong ones in there. So not surprised to see so many clear at this point. All right, moving on to USA's 30-year-old Wilton Porter. And he's sitting on Sternmark 3. The Sleepy Pea Ranch BV entry of the 10-year-old Hanoverian gelding by staccato with the Escudo 1 mother. He was very good. I think he was clear in the qualifier last week, if I remember correctly. So maybe. I know he was clear recently. I don't remember which class it was. But a little bit of a reach at number 2. You saw the horse kind of just do a little extra stretch to get over that. Has A coming into the double there. Big jump there across the Mars Oxer. And they're a little bit disjointed how he jumped A and a little bit imbalanced and then has B down. You can see the horse's legs were just not quite square as he jumped that, and then has the back pole of number 10 as well at the back pole with the front legs. Just look like the horse is not holding his front legs up in the air quite long enough. Jumps that good coming out. Clears the last and will pick up 3 penalties, so 12 faults total for 70 times 74.60 for Wilton Porter and Sternmark 3. All right, sitting on the 14 clear so far. And again, thanks to Adequan for sponsoring this $62,500 4-star Grand Prix qualifier. All right, let's take a look at 18-year-old from Ireland, Tom Watchman. Tom is sitting on the Coolmar show jumping entry of Berlux Z. 2011 Zangerside gelding by Berlin with the Major de la Cour mother. This horse super scopy. Jumped in the Olympics with Simone Deleste. And I think he actually just had a block of the wall off, which actually I think is the first time we've seen that come down this class. But this horse, tremendously scopy by Berlin. Berlin also just typically producing these really scopy, good-minded horses. Tend to even get better as they get older. So this horse 13 now. Remember, horses in the high level can peak anywhere from 9 to 15 is really sort of the range of where the real peak is. And so ones that develop a little bit later, 13 is perfect age. Big scope there. Tom doing a good job maintaining this horse's big stride. Gets over the last, but we'll pick up that early one at the wall. 77.59, just under our time allowed, but with the 4 faults, that will slot him into 28th place at the moment. And 4 faults for Tom Watchman and Berlux. All right, 14 clear so far for round number 1, and we're going to move on to Brazil's Gabriel de Matos Machado and Niels van der Motelhove, the Sweet Oak Farm entry of the 11-year-old Belgian-bred gelding by I Am Morhova Star, out of I Am Morhova Star, with the Carbonu Van de Helm mother. It's an entry of Baywinds Equestrian LLC and Equine Equity Partners, as well as Sweet Oak. Funny, we saw number 2 come down quite early in the class. Have not seen it so much later on. Maybe the light changed a little bit. And another one with the block of the wall coming down. Funny, we hadn't seen that come down at all. And then the last 2 in a row having the top of the wall down. Good jump there over the blue oxer. A little bit of a touch on the back pole, but that stays up. That was very, very light touch. Bulging a little bit to the left, and that is why that comes down. You can see the horse just not straight through that line, kind of pushing towards the outside, through the outside leg. Also has the front pole of the orange oxer on the Florida Coast Equipment jump. And a little bit touch on the way up there. Jumps out well. Gets over the last, but with a block off the wall and the 2 down the outside. Picking up 12 faults and also 2 on the clock, total of 14 penalty faults for Gabriel de Matos Machado and Niles. 79.42 was their time. All right, let's take a look at what has been an incredibly successful partnership over the last year or so. USA's Chloe Reed and Crossover 4, the Team Reed LLC entry of the 11-year-old Hanoverian gelding by Cascadello with the Choco Blue mother. But Chloe's been so successful on this horse. She developed it herself up to the high level and has been placed in so many Grand Prix. Been high up on the podium. I don't believe she has won one yet, but I know she's been on the podium a number of times, and this has just been a great partnership and really stepped up to this higher level 4-star jumping. And it's looking good so far. She really trusts the horse. They really develop together. Great push off the ground. Horse really comes off the ground great away from the poles versus into them. Oh, could see just stretched across it a little bit and pops the back pole. Coming into that double. Has been probably the most difficult jump to jump on the course today. We've seen it come down countless times. Big jump there. Chloe's such a strong position in the saddle. You can see she really adds leg, creates that energy. Strong little rider she is. All right, she'll pick up 74.63 is their time. 4 faults total. Just A of that double at 8A. So she'll sit in 19th place. So that will qualify her for Saturday night's Grand Prix. But we'll keep her out of the jump off today. All right, moving on to Egypt's Nile Nasser and the Evergate Stables LLC entry, Jiminy Cricket. 33-year-old rider sitting on the 13-year-old gelding Bicolestis with the Cornet Obolinski mother. And a former rider of Harry Smolders of Belgium. And Carrie Potter as well from California. Really elastic horse. I've seen this horse jump a number of times, and it's really athletic. I like it actually a lot. Opens up beautifully behind. Nice and simple there. You could see just took his time, jumped through there. Has the front pole with the hind legs at that blue oxer. I actually think it's the first person to have that jump down. We have not seen too much trouble there, but it just looked like the hind legs clipped the front pole. So the arc of the jump maybe just a little bit off. Steadies up there, jumps the plank really well. Keeps the energy up here. Ooh. Maybe just took that first one out of the corner and has it on the way up with the front legs. And Nile just staying on it to the last. Picking up the 2 penalties, 8 faults total, 75.97 for Nile Nasser and Jiminy Cricket. So 2 down for Nile. And with a few left in this first round, let's move on to Belgium's Zoe Conter and the Stefik Stables entries, Dawa de Green Bay Z. Zoe, the older of the two sisters, at 25 years of age, and she's sitting on the 12-year-old stallion, Zangerside Stallion by Diarado, with the Schilling mother. Again, we've seen a number of Diarados in this class. We always talk about these Diarados being such super commercial, simple, nice, easy horses, really rideable. And 2 of them, the other 2 Diarados that we've seen are both clear, Donatello and Degas. So let's see if Zoe can add her name to the good list. And it's funny, we always think of the top of the sport as meter 60, and I was looking up this horse the other day, and the mother of this horse is listed as having jumped 170. So perhaps the mother actually jumped in Calgary, because the only class I know of that's listed as 170 is up in Spruce Meadows. Looking good so far. Nicely done there. Rode that very well. Again, we've seen that come down a lot, so she really executed that appropriately. And now just the last line. Little bit of a gap coming in there. Steadies up, jumps big across B. 1 left to go. She's a little bit on the clock. Let's take a look and see if she stays within the time allowed. Unfortunately, 0.04 of a second over. Picking up that 1 time fault for Zoe Conter. So that will put her as the fastest of our time faulters in 15th place, but unfortunately that will keep her out of our jump off with the 1 time fault for Zoe Conter and Dawa. So clear jumping. Like I said, all those Diorardos jumping, not touching the jumps today, but a little slow for Zoe. All right, moving on to Australia's Scott Keach. Scott is sitting on the Southern Cross Equestrian LLC entry of Noble de la Chapelle. 11-year-old Belgian-bred gelding by for Passion Dive with the Eros Platier mother. And Scott representing his home nation of Australia, but been based here in the U.S. for a while. Stallion of this horse for Passion was a for pleasure offspring, and didn't have so many babies because the focus was the sport. So again, having the back pole of number 8 at that minty green double. And just keep an eye out, guys. That double, we're going to see it a lot. They have the minty green, and then they have it also in kind of pastel-y orange color as well. And we're going to see that throughout the season here at Wellington International for the Winter Equestrian Festival. And we're going to see those rails coming down a lot. The horses just struggle to jump those pastel solid colors. So he did have the front pole of 10 as well, so that will be a total of 8 faults times 78.08. Also just 8 hundredths of a second over the time allowed, picking up the 1 time fault, total of 9 for Scott Keach and Noble. All right, moving on to the USA's Spencer Britton and the Amon Equestrian LLC entry, Stakan 4. 25-year-old rider from Texas. Let's see what he can do on the 12-year-old Hanoverian gelding by Spartacus with the For Pleasure mother. Horse a former ride of Charlie Jane. And looking good so far. This horse by Spartacus. Spartacus was a horse that in Europe jumped 160 with Eric van der Vleuten. And really good character, nice horses. And again, not so old, so the oldest foals are just starting out in the sport. And Stakan, one of the higher level ones to see. It's looking good so far. Horse has a really uphill balance, nice bouncy kind of gallop. Does have the plank down. Looked like he tried to steady up, and the horse just jumped a little too low. A little bit off to the left here. Steadies up for the double. Needs to keep the horse straight. Just got through that double a little bit too early. Again, short 2 strides there. And we have seen that front pole come down a lot for that same reason. Time 75.53 with the 2 down. 8 faults total for Spencer Britton and Stakan. All right, looking like first of 4 remaining. And we're going to see Brazil's Rodrigo Pessoa and Dalida. Dalida was clear also 2 weeks ago in our qualifier. And Rodrigo, of course, won our National Grand Prix last Saturday night under the lights here on a different horse. But let's see what this 10-year-old mare owned by the Artemis Equestrian Farm LLC and Rodrigo Pessoa can do. It's by Diamant and a Calvaro Z mother. 10-year-old Zangersider mare. I've seen this horse jump a number of times. Really nice horse. Jumped a lot of clear rounds, at least the ones that I've seen. Gets over the double verticals. Really careful horse. Fast, competitive. And again, seeing that come down. Just shifted a little bit right to left across it. And had the front pole down. So we're seeing the front, we're seeing the back pole. We're actually seeing the back pole come down more, not so much the front. But Dalida having the front pole just shifted, I think, as she took off. And having the front pole of that as well. Gets through the double nicely. Clears the last, but will pick up 8 faults, 75.99 for Rodrigo Pessoa and Dalida. So 2 down for Rodrigo. 42nd place at the moment with 3 left to jump. So that should, no matter what, put Rodrigo in qualifying for Saturday night's class. But not his day today. Okay, moving on to USA's Raleigh Hiller, and she is sitting on Obora's Chloe. The Kurt Hiller entry of the 13-year-old mare by Choco Blue with the Lacapo mother. Let's see what Raleigh can do. Again, first of our remaining 3 in this first round. Thanks to Adequan, our title sponsor of today's class. And number 2 comes down. We hadn't seen that come down. It came down early, actually, quite a lot. And then we hadn't seen it come down this second half so much. But catches out Raleigh today. Looking all right. Let's see how she does this green double. A little bit of a gap there, a little bit on the outside track. Gets there a little bit early. You can see even from this angle, the last stride that the horse took was definitely the shortest and just a little bit too early. So it has A and B of the double. Gets through the last, sitting on the 3 down at the moment. Clears the last jump, but will pick up 1 time fault as well. 78.74. 1 on the clock, 3 on the course. Total of 13 faults. And that'll put her into 51st place at the moment. And we've got 2 left to jump. Sitting on the 14 clear at the moment. Have not seen a clear actually in over 10 rounds. So let's see if one of our remaining 2 can do it. Can USA's Grant Seeker do it? Let's see what he can do on the 12-year-old mare Frida. Owned and ridden by Grant himself, by Balou du Rouet with the Canturo mother. Looks good over number 1. Big jump over number 2. Jumped out beautifully. Big jump of the wall. The arc of the jump was a little bit past the peak. So landed far away from that wall. Steadies up here for the 6. A little bit back and forth there in the steady. But works out nicely. On the inside track, but unfortunately have an A and B down. Looking like the horse just getting a little bit, ooh, that's hard when they do that, when they kind of jerk you out of the tack. They get a little bit mouthy, and then that is not the easiest. But Grant doing a good job. Just trying to keep the spry gallop organized. And he'll get over the last, but with those two down from A and B, the double time is 75.45 for Grant Seeger and Frida. And we will have one remaining in our first round. And let's see where we're at. For our last is going to be Mexico's Enrique Gonzalez and Origi van de Zeshoek. Owned and ridden by Enrique himself. 10-year-old Belgian-bred gelding by Marius Claudius with the Eldorado mother. Nice pat in the ground there at the wall. A little bit of a bend here in the 6. Clears the double verticals, really jumps B high. Can see there it was a little bit crooked, didn't quite see where he was going. Enrique just trying to keep the horse focused and straight. Gets through the difficult green double. All right, he's looking good so far. We're sitting on the 14 clear. Is it going to be 15? Gets over the black double. 1 left to go. Looks okay on the clock. Gets over the last, and it will be 15 clear for our class. We will see exactly how many are going to come back and actually jump that jump off. But of the 61 that jumped the first round, 15 jumped clear. Enrique Gonzalez with the time of 74.62 makes it well within our time allowed. They are going to set and get ready for our jump off. Again, thanks to Adequan for sponsoring today's class. American Region Animal Health, the maker of Adequan polysulfated glycosaminoglycan, is proud to sponsor today's 62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here at week 3 of the Winter Equestrian Festival. We're going to take a short break, let them reset, drag, horses and riders getting ready for our jump off, and we'll be back with you guys shortly for the conclusion of our class. Stay tuned. Oh, and there we'll take a look actually at our jump off qualifiers. First up, Derek Kenny, then Jacob Pope. I believe they will actually see if Jacob Pope maybe jumps first because of the original order. Then Nina Malave, Tiffany Foster, David O'Brien, Ashley Bond, Adrian Sternlicht, Nicola Philipparts, Amy Miller, Kent Farrington, and Enrique Gonzalez. Those are going to be our 11 returning. 15 did qualify, but 4 electing not to jump off. And let's see what those 11 can do. We'll be back with you guys shortly. Stay tuned for the jump off. All right, guys, we are back with you. They're just finishing up their final preparations for the $62,500 CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Thanks again to Adequan, our title sponsor of today's class, American Region Animal Health, maker of Adequan. Polysulfated glycosaminoglycan is proud to sponsor today's CSI 4-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. For over 30 years, Adequan has been trusted by veterinarians, trainers, and horse owners. Visit adequan.com to learn more. Of course, thanks to Dodd Technologies presenting our live stream. Dodd Technologies is an industry leader in creative design and technology support services for sports, entertainment, corporate, and sports special events. Visit us online at doddtechnologies.com. And today's live stream is also presented in part with the support of the U.S. Equestrian Federation and the USEF Network. I'm Danny Waldman, and we are getting ready for the conclusion of our class. We're going to see 11 come back for our jump off. And they are just making their final preparations, and they will be with us shortly. The drags are just finishing up their last few rounds. They've removed a number of the jumps, and I will take you guys through the jump off course. And it looks like the original 1 and 2. So that triple bar of the Adequan, triple bar up alongside the VIP, left-handed down to number 2, the WEF Oxer, which we saw come down a lot in the first round. Then it's going to be a roll back to the Net Jets, which was an Oxer. It is now a vertical, and they've kept it in place of the back pole of what was the original Oxer. That is now 15. Then long run down to 12B. So it had been 7 strides in the first round and then 2 strides in the double. So the minimum it's really going to be is 9. I don't think we're going to see any 8s. And we may see some 10s. And then left-handed turn to the final jump, which we saw mostly 9s in the first round. Again, I don't think we're going to see 8s because that's just going to pitch people closer to the end gate, and they need to now roll back on the green Oxer vertical double, that minty green that was very difficult in round 1. So I think we'll probably see out in the 9 so they could be angled right to left, turning back. And then they do the double, and then it is a long run down to the Florida Coast Equipment Oxer at number 10 to complete our jump off. Again, 15 qualified, 11 returning for the jump off. Those other 4 have elected not to jump off, saving their horses perhaps for Saturday night or another day. Again, thanks to our course designer, Canadian Peter Grant, and assisted by Jason Shelley of the USA. Those are our course designers for the week here at the Net Jets 4-star week 3 at the Winter Equestrian Festival at Wellington International. We are just finishing up our preparations, and we're going to see how fast people run. $62,500 up for grabs in this first 4-star week of the Winter Equestrian Festival. Drags are making their way out, and we shall be underway very shortly. And there we go. First up, like I thought, is going to be Jacob Pope. He was our actual second qualifier in the jump off, but from the original order. We'll go back to that in the jump off, so he will be our pathfinder for this jump off. It's going to be 29-year-old American Jacob Pope and Highway FBH, owned by the Highway Group. 12-year-old Dutch-bred stallion Biplot Blue with the Cornet Obolinski mother. He's taking a look at that rollback on the Net Jets vertical. This horse can be very fast, but he jumps so high over the jumps, sometimes he can lose a little bit of time because he's such a good jumper. So we can't fault him for that. But let's see how fast Jacob is going to go. Time allowed in this jump off, 55 seconds. Again, shouldn't play too much of a role, but just so we are aware. Off the left, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now he's going to come up and do this rollback on the Net Jets. Got to be quick. Take a look on the ground where his tracks are. We'll be able to track the other ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now left-handed back. Strong ride into the double. Beautiful there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Slows up a little bit to the last. Clears it. But he will finish up 44.09. So that will be our automatic leader with the double clear, 44.09, and double clear for Jacob, Pope, and Highway. So well done to them. But we'll see. He did slow up to the last one a little bit. Let's see if somebody else keeps that pace up and can beat the time set of 44.09. Next up going to be Dara Kenny and Eddie Blue. Irish rider, riding the 12-year-old gelding. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One less. Now he's going to be, you can see on the ground there, inside the tracks. Great ride there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe there might be an 8 to an 8. Gets a quite quick turn back here. Gets a good shot coming into the double right on the right corner. And now he's running to the last. Does he keep the pace up? He does. Slows up a little bit, but still moving. Jumps up over the last. Beats that time. 39.64. Becomes the new time to beat. 39.64 for Dara Kenny and Eddie Blue. Now he did 10 from 1 to 2, but then he did 9 and 8. And we're going to see if somebody else manages to do 8 and 8. And we're going to check out Francis, Nina Malave, and Cartier SR, the Rain Family LLC entry of the 12-year-old Holsteiner gelding by Cantor Renter. So she does 10 there. Same as what Jacob did, but Dara did do 9. She's pretty tight back on here. Beautiful round turn there. Great jump. She'll also do the 9. Easy in the 8. Again, this horse having a huge stride. Keeps the leg on there. Gets a little bit deep. You could see the horse just didn't quite pick up on it. And a little deep, having the front pole down. Clears the last. And she'll finish up for faults time 45.72. So she slowed up a little bit after that fault, but has the one down for Cartier SR. She'll go into third at the moment. Again, leading time 39.64 with the clear. Dara Kenny and Eddie Blue leading the way at the moment. Let's see what Canada's Tiffany Foster can do on her super fast mount, Battle Cry. Owned by Artisan Farms LLC and Kent Farrington LLC. Let's see what the 10-year-old Belgian-bred gelding by Vigo Darsui can do. Again, this horse very careful, very scopy. I think she could be very fast. And look at this big gallop she picks up. Let's see what she does. Does the 10. Needs to be tight here. She's right on those tracks. Needs to keep coming through the turn. Good shot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right to the base. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Needs to keep moving here. She's on a good steady pace, but I don't know if she's faster than Dara. Gets on the right corner, and now she's going to have to run to the last. Same as Dara. Let's see. Does not catch him. 41.62 for Tiffany Foster. 41.62 on the clear, but that puts her into second place at the moment. So almost 2 full seconds under the time set by Dara, but still a good solid double clear for Tiffany Foster and Battle Cry. All right, let's see what Ireland's David O'Brien can do. David O'Brien is sitting on El Baloo Old, the Chansonet Farm LLC and Leap Year Farm LLC entry of the 12-year-old Stallion by Eldorado. All right, what's he going to do? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, Dara did 9 there. He was really fast. He's right on track here. Getting a little bit stuck in the turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think he thought to do the 8 and then realized he wasn't getting there. Did the 9. Stays on the 8 here. Again, this horse wastes no time in the air. So if he keeps on moving, he could be close. Great shot in there. Right to left, slice across the double. And now he's just got to run to the last. Someone who's going to win is going to take a shot here. Steadies up a little bit to the end. Time 41.10. So that will put him into second with the double clear, ahead of Tiffany Foster, who had 41.62. So 41. So he's still, though, almost a second and a half slower than our leading time of 39.64 with Dara Kenny and Eddie Blue. All right, but now we've got a very speedy lady coming up. It is Ashley Bond of Israel and her Olympic mount, Donatello. Donatello, 141. Let's see. They can be so fast. Have won so many classes. Not so worried about the numbers for Ashley because, again, this horse is a small horse, not the biggest stride, but it doesn't matter. She's so fast. Tight turn back there. A little bit of a slip, but she was super tight. I think she was the tightest so far. Again, numbers not mattering so much for Ashley. She is just trying to keep the jump. So look at that left corner. Keep kicking here. Needs to get a good shot into the double. A little bit extra encouragement. And now she's going to have to run to the last. We'll keep an eye on that time. How's she doing? How's she doing? I don't think she's going to catch him, but she's still going to be on the double clear. 41.111. Oh, so she is just behind David O'Brien, who was 41.10. So she will go into third at the moment. 41.111. Going into third with the 100th of a second behind the Irishman. But that means Dara Kenny still leading 39.64 on the clear. Adrian Sternlicht and Benny's Legacy coming up next. The Starlight Farms 1 LLC entry. Benny's Legacy. Let's see how fast she's going to go on the 2008 Oldenburg Gelding by Lupicore with Voltaire Mother. Let's see what kind of risk she's going to take. He jumped a beautiful round. This horse very careful. And good shot at 1. Does the 10. Nice and simple. Here you can see she's a little bit wider, just taking her time on the rollback. Not too quick. Does the 9. Beautiful shot there. Steadies up in the 8. Just keeping it smooth. She's a little bit off the pace, but just keeping it smooth. Unfortunately, having B down. But actually a beautiful round there for Adrian Sternlicht and Benny's Legacy. So didn't push it too much, but does pick up the 1 down. Time 44.39 into 6th at the moment for Adrian and Benny's Legacy. All right, Dara Kenny still in the lead, 39.64 on the double clear. And let's see if Belgium's Nicola Philipparts and Derby to Riverland can catch him. Nicola, again, second in our Grand Prix on Sunday in the 3-star, so we know he can be fast. Let's see how much he pushes it today. $62,500. up for grabs today. So let's see what he can do on the Team Philipparts and Pierre Similai entry of Derby to Riverland. Gets the 10. Ooh, tight back here. Really tight. Oh, had to stick one in at the end. He will definitely be trying to do the 9 here. Not going to try to do 8. Clears that. Gets the 8 easy here. Good job using his upper body to lift the horse around that vertical. Oh, great shot there. Slice across. And now he's got to run to the last. He's going to have to keep the revs up. He can't steady too much. Ooh, maybe steadied a little early. He's pretty close. Does he get him? 39.29, and he does catch him. So into the lead for Nicola Philipparts and Derby to Riverland. 39.29. And that will take over our lead by a couple of tenths of a second. So well done to Nicola to take over the lead in our Challenge Cup here today. But a couple left to jump to see if he will take the win. All right. Let's see what Amy Miller of Canada can do on Truman, the Millerbrook Farm and Overland entry of the 2009 Self Francais Gelding. She's off to a running start. Can she catch the new time set by Nicola Philipparts? 39.29. Nice shot here. She's going to have to be tight here. So she takes a little bit of a different track. Slice across. Great careful horse there to clear it. Keeps moving. Nice and simple. Oh, just gets there a little bit on an angle, making that distance a little bit closer than she would have liked. Has the front pole of the Brain Java Oxer. So beautiful shot in here. But again, wants to stay up in that prize money, so she's going as fast as she can. Steadies up a little bit to the last, jumps across to the right there at the Oxer. Time 43.01 with the 4 faults. Will put her into 7th place at the moment for Amy Miller and Truman. Again, new leading time was just set by Nicola Philipparts on Derby to Riverland. Dara Kenny in 2nd. And David O'Brien sitting in 3rd at the moment. Let's see if Kent Farrington and Greya can catch them. All right. Let's see, Kent Farrington just coming on up. Ranked 3rd in the world at the moment. So that tells you that he is winning and placing very high in a lot of classes. So that means he's a big contender here today. Let's see if Ken Farrington and Greya, the Ken Farrington LLC entry of the 10-year-old mare by Colestis, can catch Nicola Philipparts at 39.29 on the double clear. All right. Let's see what he can do. Dara did 9, 1 to 2, and then 9 and 8. Down the other line. Let's see if Kent. This horse has a very big stride. And gets a good shot there, wasting no time in the air. Gets the good shot to the WEF. Now he's going to have to be tight here. Does the 9. Again, Nicola was very, very quick. And, oh, Kent having the farm vet vertical down. So no matter how fast he can go, now he's just keeping it organized and quick. Slows up a little bit here to the last, just keeping it organized. Does have the last one down as well. So 8 faults, time is 41.40 with the 2 down for Kent Farrington. That'll put him in 10th place at the moment with 1 left to jump in our jump off. Nicola Philipparts leading. And Dara Kenny in second. Let's see if Enrique Gonzalez and Origi van Zeshoek in his own entry of the 10-year-old Belgian-bred gelding by Marius Claudius can catch Nicola Philippart's 39.29. Can he do it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he does 10. Nicola also did the 10. Oh, and unfortunately tried to get through the turn, got a little bit stuck in the ground and didn't come up, so he had to make the circle. That's unfortunate for Enrique, but that does mean that Nicola will take the class today. Enrique just wanting to now finish up on a solid round. Of course, setting up for Saturday night or whatever else he may jump this week with this horse. Just cuts down a little bit there at that oxer. So, one left to jump. Clears the last, but will pick up the 8 penalty faults, 52.21 for Enrique Gonzalez and Origi. So that means our winner is going to be Belgium's Nicola Philipparts and Derby to Riverland. Second, Dara Kenny. Time was 39.64, so about 0.4 of a second behind our leader. And in third was going to be David O'Brien and El Baloo Old. So it was a very exciting class here. 15 made it into our jump off, 11 electing to jump. And we will be coming up with our prize giving ceremony shortly. Again, thank you to Adequan for today's sponsor. Our title sponsor of week 3 here at WEF is NetJets. And it was a very exciting jump off here today. They're just getting ready for the prize giving. We will be back. Again, lots more FEI jumping to be seen this week. We've got 2-star, 4-star classes tomorrow. Qualifier for the 2-star Grand Prix is tomorrow, as well as a meter 50 for the 4-star. Saturday night's NetJets Grand Prix. And, of course, I will be back with you guys on Sunday for the meter 50. The Hermes meter 50 Classic coming up on Sunday. And we are at week 3 already. Amazing how quickly it goes. But we've got 12 weeks of spectacular FEI show jumping for you guys. And we'll be with you each week, bringing you the top competition from all over the world. So many nations represented here, from Europe to North America, South America, and everywhere in between. Again, 61 horses jumped today's class, 15 jumped clear, 11 jumped off, and our winner was Belgium's Nicola Philipparts and Derby to Riverland. They were second in the Grand Prix on Sunday, so I'm sure that they are thrilled to be picking up the lion's share of today's prize money of $62,500 for this 4-star WEF Challenge Cup. There's third and second, David O'Brien, then Dara Kenny. And, of course, our leader will be here with us shortly. Nice that we finally have a little sun and warmth. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend here the rest of the week 3. And then it's supposed to get a little bit chilly again next week, but that's January in Florida. But we're happy that it's dry today since it's been raining every other day since the season started. There you can see colleagues just having a little chat, maybe a little congratulations to each other. Heading towards our prize giving. And coming forward for third place, we've got David O'Brien and the Chansonet Farm LLC and Leap Year Farm LLC entry El Baloo Old. Their time 41.10 on the double clear for third place here for our WEF Challenge Cup. Helmet back on. And coming up for second place, who led most of the class until the near end, Ireland's Dara Kenny and the Kerry Ann LLC entry, Eddie Blue. Their time 39.64 on the clear. The only other person to break the 40-second mark Funny, actually, we had 39s and 41s. No one was in 40. But there's our winner with the Adequan cooler for Week 3's WEF Challenge Cup and Grand Prix qualifier winner, Belgium's Nicola Philipparts, and his own entry, Derby de Riverland. Their time 39.29 on the double clear for the big win today. Nice smile. Photo op. Look at that. Horse standing beautifully. Thank you again to Adequan for this presentation of our class. Dodd Technologies presenting our live stream in cooperation with USEF. And we will do a little victory gallop now for the conclusion of our class. And again, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Danny Waldman. This has been a presentation of Wellington International and Showgrounds Live. There's our winners. First, Nicola Philipparts. Second, Derek Kenny. And third, David O'Brien. Thank you guys again for listening. I will be back with you on Sunday for the Meter 50, but stay tuned all week for the FEI action here at the International Ring at Wellington International. Catch you next time.